All right, y'all. So this is our first time going live, and I mean, after that game, we absolutely had to get on here.
Piss poor.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different thoughts. I just wanted to I don't know, I guess just speak our minds real quick. Live, we haven't watched post game film, so maybe there's some positives to it. My biggest takeaway is number one, especially in that first half, we got dominated on both fronts. So, and that's something, I talked about. I think we both kind of talked about it. I know for sure that I did. So I'm just going to own up to it. I was 100% wrong about that.
Yeah.
I said that we would dominate up front. I said that we would outrush Florida, and we didn't. I don't even know what the stats was, but I can tell just from watching it, they outrushed the hell out of us. Defense looked terrible. Linebackers looked terrible, especially in that first half. Secondary looked pretty solid.
Well, heck,
yeah, go ahead.
My biggest takeaway, to me, like you said, physically dominated, but to me, coaching,
God, yes.
Particularly, really both sides of the ball. I think defensively, first half, playing a lot of zone, they're finding the holes, coach. Let's play man coverage, press man coverage. Like you said, going back to what you said, D line got whipped. I said, hey, I'm big on. I want to see is how do we match up front? Against SC caliber team, do we match up? And went out there, we got pushed around the first half. Guys were tapping out.
Oh my God!
Turn it down. Coach, bring take me out of the game, coach. I'm done. The whole nine. And then you look at the offense side of the ball. I don't know if it's Halsley or if it's Heupel calling these plays, but why aren't we pushing it down the field more? I mean, is that Joe Milton or is that Heupel? I mean, is that Halsley? Who's to blame for that? I mean, we had guys open. I feel like down, when we push it down the field, Milton put it where it needed to be put.
Yeah, I mean, so it seemed like he was a lot more accurate than I guess maybe what a lot of people expected down the field, but. I mean, there's so many different things for us to touch on, but since you brought that up, Pete, we can talk about that. Yeah, so we definitely got outcoached, didn't push the ball down the field. I think that is just Coach Heupel not having faith in Joe Milton to be able to make those passes, which leads me to the question of why is he playing? Okay, well, he's a 6-year senior. He stayed and, paid his dues and all that. Hey, that's a great story.
Yeah, put an $8 million man.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is real life. This is SEC football. We do want to win, and I wish the best for all of our guys. Anybody that comes out and puts that orange and white on, we all wish the absolute best for them. Mm-hmm. But right now, on the field, in crunch time against a rivalry game, it's about winning. Yeah. And if you know damn well that Joe Milton can't go out there and win that game for us, if he can't do what we need to win, then shame on you, Heupel, and shame on whoever else was part of that. And I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know what actually happened. To me, though, it did seem like we called some plays for him to throw the ball deep, and he just didn't damn throw it.
Didn't do it.
He just does not have that dog, that killer mentality that you really need to have. Mm-hmm. He talks a great game.
Yeah.
He can say it all, and he does great off the field. Probably would be a great coach. He's not a great player. He's not a gamer. We need a gamer.
Yeah.
So at this point, and this is something else too, I said this earlier in our podcast pregame. Joe Milton was the guy then. He's not now. We see that.
Not the guy.
We need somebody who's going to make plays, who's going to use his legs, who's going to, do something.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything.
And here, we were hesitant to, start with the Nico talk.
Yeah.
Hey, we gave him opportunity. I think Heupel's same way. I think, us and Heupel are pretty much in lockstep.
Yeah. Seems like it.
But, seriously, don't be surprised at all if you see a lot of Nico. I don't know if he's going to start next week against UTSA, but he's going to get in. They're going to, it might be 2 series of Joe and then Nico. I mean, because we're talking. Here's the deal, okay? We still got everything we want in front of us, okay? Because, what we're talking about, that's a bad Florida ball club we lost to. They're going to lose 3, 4, 5 more games, okay? They're going to lose games. So if we win out, if we can go out there and win out. It's not working. What's going on? Quavo out here. We're watching that Colorado game here. But here's the deal. We was talking about, but here's the deal. Nico, I think it's time to see him. I mean, he's a guy, to me, he's just a gamer. We talked about before the game in our pregame show. He might have to tune into it. go out there and play backyard ball a little bit. Be a gamer, play football, dude. It's fun. Go out there and have fun and play. Play to win. Don't be so robotic. Play.
Yeah.
And Nico kind of has that, or he has that to the nth degree. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
he does.
And
sure.
So don't probably see him this week. Hopefully, Cooper Mays is ready to freaking go. He let me down this week.
There are so many different things. Like it's crazy because we're going live. Like we said, this is our first time doing it. But let me just say this: we don't know what the coaching staff is going to do. We're speaking from what we would do, and probably what most of y'all feel. A lot of people was talking about Nico playing. Y'all was right, and we didn't think that he should be playing. But if he would have played in this game, I don't know. I mean, we don't see them on a day-to-day basis. But you just have to think that anybody with a pulse, anybody that wanted to win with half of a dog in you is gonna make more plays than what Joe did. Now, offensive line, but so look, offensive line did not play great, but we expected to. I mean, you have to expect that. Like it's not gonna be perfect. Nothing's gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
You said it perfectly. It was on too many third down plays.
Mm-hmm.
You should not see your quarterback skipping the ball to the daggone wide receiver. It shouldn't look like you're skipping rocks out on the lake. That's ridiculous. That's unacceptable. You're a 6-year senior. You're one of the oldest people in this league, dude. I'm not trying to come down on Joe, but dude, what in the world?
I mean, to me, I take it back to Ole Miss. The Ole Miss game, whatever year that was.
Whenever Moses out of bounds.
We're in the red zone.
Yeah, I'm getting a whole lot of bad memories from that.
He Moses out of bounds, like you said. I mean,
on that last second play,
You tune into this game. What was it? Was that 2-point conversion after we scored, put up 16?
Yeah.
2-point conversion. What's it do? Moses out of bounds.
That's the same thing, and people are open.
People are open.
Give people a chance to catch the ball. And you know what? I guess I can kind of understand. He had this thing going where he hadn't thrown a pick at Tennessee since he'd been there, or whatever they call it. And he threw one today. After that, bro, if you throw 5, if you throw 15, it doesn't matter. Let's go win this game, bro. Let's go win this game. Throw the ball. Put it up there. Brew is open. And even if he's not, he's open. If one person's on Brew, he's open. He's a dog.
We were calling for Brew all night long, weren't we?
Yeah.
And they finally gave it to him that last drive, or whatever, one of those drives when we scored at the end there. He's one-on-one with Brew is a mismatch. I don't care who was on him. It's a mismatch, especially when it was that guy that had on him. That guy was a scrub.
Yeah.
That guy was a freaking scrub. Here's the deal. Nothing. Hey, I like Joe Milton. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate him sticking it out. I feel terrible, for him having to lose his spot if he does lose it, just because he stuck it out and tried to do the right thing. But here's the deal, dude. 6-year guy, can throw it 100 yards, 6'5", 240, 4'5", 40, 35.
It don't matter if you can't ball, bro.
But you can't win his ball games against a subpar Florida team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hey, sorry, but next guy's up.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly speaking, I just growing up, I'm sure that most of y'all can say this exact same thing. It's a whole lot of people that we've seen that have a whole lot of different tools. They can throw the ball far, they can run far, they can jump high, everything else. But whenever those lights turn on, they're just not the same person or player. There's a lot to be said, especially at the quarterback position, about being a gamer, about being a baller. Joe Milton just is not that, period. Like, I don't need to see anymore. Like, there's no need to waste any more time on it. It's done. Let's move on. Even if you want to call this season a total wash, that's cool. Do that. But let's look towards our future and let's put Nico in, because Nico is a baller. We've seen that. Mm-hmm. And let's go ahead and start getting him acclimated to this SEC ball. You know what I'm saying? And let's see what we can salvage out of this season. Mm-hmm. I just don't. Joe is a guy who will come out and he'll play great in some games, but he's not going to be consistent. We've seen too much of that. Yeah. And I'm not trying to be overly critical, I guess, or I'm not trying to be mean or cold-hearted to him. But at the end of the day, we want to win.
Yeah,
we want to win right now, and Joe is just not going to get it done.
This is a daggone, results-oriented business. At the end of the day, it's all about results. If you're not getting the results, there's a guy behind you waiting to go give them to you. So hey, like I said, hate that for Joe, but your time's probably up. We got UTSA coming in town next week. Let's try some things. Put some of these freshmen here. Nico being the main one we want to see. Put him in there. And get this thing rolling, because with Joe, it's just like I said, the ceiling as much potential as he has, the ceiling is still like low with him, just because he doesn't take those chances. He doesn't push it down the field. He doesn't get out the pocket and run. Use his athleticism. He's just not the guy. As much as I want him to be, I love him to be the guy. I think he has first overall draft pick potential, Heisman Trophy winning potential. He's just not delivering, and
he has all the physical tools for that. But
absolutely,
there's something that you can't quite quantify, and that's we talked about it on this show. It's just like he talks a good game, but you just something about it. It just it's not coming from his soul. It just doesn't have that it factor. He just does not have it. But now I don't want to beat Joe up too much right here. I think we said what we need to say about him.
Yeah.
Obviously, the offensive line did not play great again, especially in that first half.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole game looked a lot different in that second half, and that's where we was really able to single out Joe and say, okay, he's missing stuff. But it's difficult to be able to operate any offense without without good blocking, whether it's pass blocking, whether it's run blocking. The running backs didn't do great, but they didn't have a lot of places to run to. Ollie Lane didn't play great, and we talked about that. He gets pushed back a lot, or he gets pushed back more than everybody else on that line. We really needed to see, Cooper Mays come back, and then Crawford is somebody else. Let me just say this again, just to make this very, very clear on where we are coming from. As long as you give your absolute best effort, as long as you're giving your all for Tennessee, we can live with that. Like we're not going to beat you up for it. You're doing your absolute best, right? Crawford is a guy that on a lot of times running backs are still up. He's standing around looking over at the crowd and stuff. Yeah. He's the last one to get engaged with that. That's not giving your all. That's not being a dog. That's not doing your best. That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
So to me, he's another one. I don't want to see him again. Okay. And while we're on it, Gabe Judy Lolly, he's another guy. It's something about that number one now. He reminds me so much of Trayvon Flowers from last season. Turning down opportunities to get in on plays. Something about defense, guys, and y'all might call us old school whenever we say this, but whenever we played, you played to the echo of the whistle, which meant this. If your teammates, if you're on defense, if your teammates have a guy held up, and if you're coming from the other side of the field to make a tackle, your mentality is, or even if they're about to square up to tackle somebody, your mentality is they're going to miss that tackle. Mm-hmm. If they're engaged and you're halfway there, it's okay, we've got to get them down. And if you get there and the whistle blows, you try not to hit them, but you're still at full speed, so you got to fly over.
Yeah, launch right over them.
That's the type of effort that we want to see out of this team. That's what we saw out of the 90s. We've seen a lot of that. I mean, I'm not just talking about the entire team. I'm talking about specifically Gabe Judy Lolly. And there were probably a couple of others. We'll go back and watch film and see. But him specifically, he wants no parts of contact. He can't cover. He's another older guy. If you're an older guy and if you still aren't up to par, I mean, I'm sorry, bro. Like, you can be a great leader for this team. You can help us coach. Yeah. Again, wish you all the best. Wish you all the best. Rooting for you. And actually hope that maybe you can come back and be a good part of this team and, help us out at some point. But from what we saw today, Gabe Judy Lolly, Jeremiah Crawford.
Ollie Lane.
Well, yeah, but see, I don't know if we have anybody else. Let's just say this. Ollie Lane is like a halfway thing. He does a decent job. He looks like he's giving his best effort. So I'm not going to be too hard on him. He does give his best effort. So I'm not going to be too hard on him. But if he's not doing what we need him to, maybe let's try to get some like Bison Lang action in there. Again, we don't see practice, so we don't know what they look like on a day-to-day basis, but just off of what we said. I mean, like, I don't know. I just want to see some other people if you're not giving your best effort. So, but those two for sure, those are two that without going back and watching film thoroughly, those two stood out significantly. That just terrible.
Yeah, they're terrible. Let down. I mean, to me, we already talk about Joe, but I mean, I feel like this coaching today was just. Bad. I mean, we didn't coach very well. We didn't call a good game. We just saw the ball, and then we talked about I think it was fourth quarter down in the red zone. when we go for it, we don't get it. I can't remember what the call was. I feel like it was another play where I think it's a play where Joe scrambles out to his right, throws it back, to Brew across the field. And I think that was the first play where he skipped it across Daggum Blake like a Daggum rock. I just feel like coaching really got to us today, man. We had a couple of bad fourth down play calls.
Yeah.
Some bad coaching decisions, and then just the overall, flow of the game. We just weren't into it. Somehow we used pretty much all timeouts, like the first drive in the third quarter.
But you know what? I feel what you're saying with that, but to me, everything that you're saying, it kind of screams that maybe we might have had some good calls, but it just was not executed properly. And that's something that we can't tell for sure until we go back and actually watch film, right? And again, we're not coaches, we're not on that staff. Not trying to undermine or undercut anybody on that staff, but yeah, it just seems like there was a lot of meat left on the bone, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
And but I feel like from an offensive perspective, what we can notice right away is effort plays, right? We see the people who are not giving effort, and if it's something that's obvious, we can tell whenever plays were missed. Yeah. There were some obvious misses from Joe Milton. There was some obvious poor effort from the offensive line. Dante Thornton. Okay, I'm glad that I knew it. I was thinking, like I'm talking and I'm thinking like somebody else who I did not throw in there. Dante Thornton is a guy that for sure. I don't really want to see him out there. Unless it's whoever the hell we're playing against next week. SEC ball is too big for him. The moment is too big for him. Now, Joe Milton did. I'm going to give him credit for this. He threw a beautiful pass to him on that seam route. So after that one pass, I think it was a post that Dante Thornton doesn't even fight for. And even Kirk Herbstreit is like, oh, you have to fight for that.
Yeah, 6'5".
I mean, dude, like, what are you doing? I give Heupel credit for this, and I give Milton credit for this. This is how you know that these guys do get it. They go right back to him on a seam route. And Joe Milton throws a beautiful ball, lays it right in his lap. And, I mean, it's hard not to catch that. So let me just say this. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me say this first. He also had a really good block. I think it was like a wide receiver screen out to Squirrel White. And I did see Dante have a good block. So he does good stock blocking, and he does good catching balls, maybe like over his shoulder there, really soft and right into his lap. But let me tell y'all something, guys. There are so many 6'5" wide receivers that can run 24 miles an hour out there, or there's so many 6'5" people out there. And we can go find them that can catch those types of easy passes and that can make those types of relatively easy blocks. You're blocking somebody that's almost half your damn size. There's no reason that you can't make that block. So I'm saying all that just to say I'm just not impressed with him. He has not shown up. And again, it comes back to maybe it's effort, maybe it's just a mindset. But I mean, I don't want to see him back out there with the starting group. Period. Put out guys that we know are going to be consistent and make catches. Let's force feed the ball to Brew McCoy. Yeah. Let's force feed it to Ramel Keaton and to Squirrel White. And if we need a fourth guy, what's going on with Chaz Nimrod? What's going on with Caleb Webb? Like we've got other people. Yeah, Nathan Leacock. Bring some of these freshmen up.
Freaking Davis. We got so many guys.
We've got I mean, and. Again, we're not undermining this staff because kudos to them for trying to put on for these older guys that have been there and that have put in the time and the effort and all that. But it's got to come to a certain point. I think that today was the breaking point. Like we said, we might not say this right at the start, but we do still have a chance, Vols. We still have a chance. There's still a path for us to make it into the playoff race. We just gotta win out now. We have no margin for error.
This could be good for us. After that loss, I mean, hopefully this is our South Carolina. This season
early on.
This is our worst game of the year. Hopefully, we turn it on and get it clicking. Maybe we see a change here. Some key positions, and maybe that really sparks this team. We got UTSA coming in here next week. Be a good week for us to, like I said, maybe try some things, kind of find out who we really are, what's this team, what's our identity. and be ready for A&M. I think the following week, I think is A&M or no?
A&M comes after our bye week.
Do we have Kentucky or who we got? We got somebody next week.
I think it. Okay, yeah, I think it might be Kentucky or
is it Carolina.
I was gonna say actually, it is. So it's
Carolina.
It's South
Carolina.
Carolina.
For that one.
Then we have a bye. Then we got Texas A&M.
Yeah, we want to go score hundreds on those guys. So I mean, like I said, looks like you said. I mean, everything we want is still in front of us.
Yeah.
Just like I said, we got to run the table.
We have a really long way to go. I do want to give some positive credit out there. All right, and then let's talk about the refs first too, because
refs are
we don't ever really like to talk about refs should not make or break a game. I feel like, especially today, y'all, we are so much better than this team on paper. And even if you just watch the film, we are a better team. We should have blown them out. I guess maybe there is something, whatever, freaky or something about going down to the swamp for us. But anyway, with all that being said, the referees did a horrific job. I mean, letting Florida sub on a critical fourth down play. Yeah. And we didn't sub anybody.
Because the ref kicked the ball.
That is, first off, ref kicks the ball just to slow it down. And then they, wait, come on, guys, sub on in. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Hey, coach, make sure that you got enough time, okay? Mm-hmm. Make sure that you know what you want to do here. Look at how they're lined up. Look at their personnel and get it all lined up. Terrible holding calls, missed holding calls, on Florida, right? I mean, so many different times that we were getting held. Wide receivers getting held, and they're not calling it.
They even talk about one.
Commentators, I mean, look, this is ESPN. We all know that ESPN pretty much hates us. Even they're giving us credit for, like, oh man, like that's a blown call, missed call. Y'all watched the game. Y'all saw it live. I mean, so many different calls, so many different plays. That one call on Castles for targeting, whatever it is, a perfect block. And then they call a personal foul on
Herring.
Herring. I mean, he taps the daggone quarterback. That's not a personal
foul.
Even the flag
at the last play of the game on Amari Thomas.
That one, I mean, dude, listen, and referees will tell you this whenever you're getting down to the end of the game and you're gonna need it. Referees will tell you, hey, then take a knee. Yeah. Don't be moving around. They'll say, then go ahead and knee it. Like, okay, that's fine. Just go on ahead and take that knee. If you're moving around and you move outside of the pocket, outside of the box, you're free game, dude. Either you get down or you go lay down. So, Big O, he was right with that. You cannot just expect, you can't just let up. That is a live play. That was another terrible call. So, anyway, I mean, referees were absolutely horrible. They didn't help us out, but you have to expect that's going to happen. It happens every single season. Once or twice, you're going to get some bad calls. You're going to get a whole crew that, for whatever reason, gives the other team all the calls. But you have to be able to overcome that. And we did not do that today. We didn't overcome really pretty much anything. Now, I am proud of that defense for coming out in the second half. Yeah. Florida ran the ball. Mostly they didn't try to throw it. But, I'm proud that we were able to, get more yardage than they did. But there's no more victories in this. And this is a rivalry game. It's SEC period. Mm-hmm. We're here to win. But I just wanted to try to say some positives. And also, Haddon played a hell of a game.
He played well.
He played, he came up and tackled very well. He was great in coverage, had some good pass breakups.
Can't think anybody else.
Well, you know what? Turnage is a guy that we haven't talked much about, but he also flashed a lot for me. Mm-hmm. I think that Aaron Beasley played okay. I think that our front four played okay. Mm-hmm. But, there was nothing great. We didn't look the way that we've looked in these previous weeks. So, we've got a long way to go. I mean, we have to come out with our hair on fire every single day of practice, every single day, just period. Mm-hmm. We have to practice like we're going to play with a train like that. And I just did not see the maximum effort that we needed today from Tennessee.
Yeah, I agree, man. Did not see it at all. Super disappointed in this team. But, like we've said, man, everything wants still in front of us. Just want to see how this team bounces back. I still believe in these guys. I still think we have a good enough roster to go compete for something. We're going to find out what this coach staff is all about and what this team's all about. You find out who you really are when you get punched in the mouth. You have that first loss. Does it bring it closer together? Does it cause a divide? Do people start to quit on you? Or people buy in a little bit more? And so, we'll find out next week. play a far inferior opponent?
I don't know how much. I'm just gonna be honest with you, man. I mean, that Florida team, that is not a very good team. I'm just gonna be completely totally honest. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. They're not a very good team. So I mean, we have a lot to clean up. We have a lot to get fixed, and hopefully this staff will get it fixed and cleaned up. There is still light at the end of this tunnel, but whatever the issues are, we've got to get it fixed right now. So, even still, man, we are Vols through and through. Always, we're always going to ride and down with this team, man.
Yeah.
We did go out there, we didn't play the way that we wanted to, but I am proud of the majority of that team, and I'm proud of the way that they fought all the way to the very, very, very end. That's something else with Big O. You see him fighting all the way to the end.
Yeah.
So we just gotta get things cleaned up.
Yeah, I agree, man.
Yeah. So on to the next week, Vol fans. We'll probably put something out after we look at the film and everything else, and just let us know y'all's thoughts, y'all's comments. I know y'all frustrated just like we are. Get it out in the comment section. Make sure to like, subscribe, and everything else. Thank y'all for tuning in. Like we said, this is our first live, probably a lot of background noise and everything else, but just had to get these thoughts out. Just wanted to be able to share it with y'all. So we'll see y'all on the next one, man. Appreciate y'all. Peace.